A very good morning to you and welcome to the Afia Morning Show this first day of July 2025. Happy new month to you and yours. We made it through June. This is saying thank you to June and thank you to all of you that made June extra special. Of course, Oji Wachuku is here as always. Oji, happy new month to you.
Happy new month. Now, this question I asked them, I'm going to ask you. So your new resolution,
Yes.
are you adhering to it? Or
I wasn't among
derailed?
those that chased clouds at the beginning of the year. I mean, if I'm wrong, then maybe you guys can help me refresh my memory. Maybe find a clip of me making a resolution. I just said I was going to seize the day. I didn't set myself up for failure this year.
Right.
So, well, I also want to shed light on something I saw on the way to work this morning. So, there was an accident, and of course, this looked like some kind of car that had lost control because of the wet roads. I would like to just signal this warning to everyone that is plying the road this rainy season to try as much as possible to be patient. Drive slowly, do not speed, do not, just try to overtake people, especially when there is a sharp bend. As much as you can, take your time, because once the road is wet, it is more likely than ever that you could skid off the road, cross over the curb and land on the other side, no matter how urgent that meeting is. Try and take your time, because if you crash that car, you go into that meeting with
the most
a headache.
important thing too is the tires. Always make sure your tires have teeth.
Yes.
Because that's the grip that could hold to the
even if you have 10 layers of
I'm just
teeth.
saying though.
I'm even learning teeth from you for the first time. Even if you have 10 layers, once the road is wet and you are speeding, there could be a vehicle on one side. You're trying to dodge that vehicle. You will skid off the road because the steering automatically will try to return. And then the tires might actually go in the other direction, and that would launch you onto the other side of the road. And if
actually saw that vehicle.
Yes.
Close to the traffic light.
Close to the traffic lights, yes. So there was actually a time I was in that situation. I was trying to get to the office, trying to be on time. I don't know what took over. I don't know how I landed on the other side of the road. But one thing I would say is I learned a superb lesson for life. And I know for a fact that there is no timeline that is worth speeding and risking your life. Because if another car was coming in the opposite direction, maybe I would have been minced meat by now, or maybe suya somewhere. So please, as much as you can, drive slowly. It's not worth it. When you're on a sharp bend, drive even slower. And when it's wet, try as much as you can to drive slow, so you don't have to brake spontaneously, because that's what makes you lose control. And you see, I'll remind everyone that is watching this, my grandfather said to my father, you would learn to respect cars when you see what a car can do to a human being. If you see what a car can do. And those of you that don't put on seatbelts, oh my God. You see this physics, right? If your car is moving at 120 kilometers per hour and you push brake, your car may stop, best case scenario, but your body and the body of anyone else in that car will continue to move at 120 kilometers per hour. Think of the law of inertia, and you would be propelled out of that vehicle like a javelin, like pole vault. That is why you see many cars that have those shattered windscreens. When they do that, their bodies, you don't even think it's possible, because there you are thinking that you're sitting at 90 degrees. But once you have that impact, once that brake hits, you are flying out of that car. Or if you hit a wall, your body will continue to move at that speed until it acts against that windscreen. It might even throw you out of that windscreen. So please put on your seatbelt as soon as you get to the car. Put on your seatbelt. Accidents happen in seconds. They happen in seconds. You won't even know what's happening. That's why it's an accident.
It's called an accident. Actually,
before you know it, you're on the other side of the road and in total confusion. And the last thing you'll be thinking about is that meeting that you were trying to get to.
That boils down to also time and timing. And with this whole African time, if you keep to time, if you have an appointment for 10, get there by 9:30 or 9:40 thereabouts, and relax and wait for that meeting. Because when it gets to like 9:40, start coming out for a meeting of 10 a.m. That's why the whole rush, occurs and all that. And before you know it, you've lost yourself on the wheels, and boom, it happens just in a split second. And
you don't even know what's happening till the car actually, hits that force, right? So try to be patient when driving. It's not worth it. Barrister Ike Ezeaputa is here, lawyer, author, and activist. Barrister Ezeaputa, good morning. Welcome to today's show.
Good morning and welcome, sir. This new look, new month.
looking fresher than fresh.
Yeah.
Yes. Glad to have you.
too.
All right. Let's head straight into the headlines this morning so that we see what's happening in the world of news beyond accidents and accident prevention. Beginning from Salient Times, experts caution against mounting debt amid FDI decline. 23-year-old man stabs self to death in Delta. Nigeria open to visa waiver for diplomats, government officials from Eastern Caribbean states, according to President Tinubu. Sex worker dies in Ondo brothel altercation. Notorious bandit kingpin Bello Turiji sues for peace after death of top commander. PDP resolves differences, returns Anyanwu as national secretary. How citizens aid crude oil thieves in Niger Delta, Tantita boss reveals. Dalori assumes duty as APC acting chairman, promises to stand by Tinubu. Farmer rescues newborn baby buried alive in Kebbi. On Amebo newspapers, Kwara boils. Protesters burn NDLEA office, MS Palace over insecurity. Abubakar Umar lists Sultan of Sokoto Dasuki Oyinlola among June 12th unsung heroes. Police declared Joseph wanted for alleged criminal conspiracy. APC opens up on Kwankwanso's reported move to join ruling party. TCN announces 120 megawatts addition to national grid. Rivers, Plateau, Kano governors will soon join our party, says APC vice chairman. On Daily Global, Peter Obi declares 2027 presidential ambition to serve only one term. U.S. approves $510 million sale of bomb guidance kits to Israel. NEC affirms Sam Anyanwu as PDP national secretary. Assassination claim, court grants Natasha bail on FG's fresh charge. Benin monarch charge governors to support Tinubu. Nigeria's Solid Minerals Group moves to curb scams, launch trade hub. Straight to Platform Times. 2027, APC members woo Kwankwanso as Tinubu's running mate. NNPP spokesperson confirms youths set MS Palace NDLEA office ablaze in Kwara over rising insecurity. Over 50,000 Nigerians diagnosed with TB lack access to treatment. This is according to the Global Fund as it raises alarm. Special reports, broken but breathing, Nigerians find ways to survive depression. St. Lucia traces ancestry to Nigeria as Tinubu receives heroic welcome in Caribbean nation. Ex-lawmaker arraigned for alleged defamation of Kwara governor over demolition of multi-billion naira property. On Nigerian News Direct, 100th NEC meeting, PDP resolves leadership rift, reinstates Anyanwu as national secretary. As warring factions reach truce, Damagun leads NEC in Abuja. Lagos begins rollout of 8 million clean cook stoves to tackle energy poverty, indoor pollution. Lagos begins rollout of 8 million clean cook stoves to tackle energy poverty, indoor pollution. Hashtag Nigeria First. NCDMB to commission new baseline studies to strengthen local content in oil and gas sector. Senator Natasha arraigned over alleged cybercrime defamation of Akpabio Yaya Bello. Tinubu flags off scholarship for Eastern Caribbean students to study in Nigeria. APC NEC to meet July 24th in Abuja to decide on new national chair.
Okay, this is Nigeria. Calm after storm. PDP NEC returns Anyanwu fully as national secretary. History will be kind to you, Tinubu tells Wike over FCT for structural revolution. Moving over to blueprint. Ceasefire as Anyanwu returns as PDP scribe. 101st NEC holds July 23rd. Presidential livestock initiatives to create 5 million jobs by 2030, says Jega. Tinubu commissions Giri Road project, hails Wike. Moving over to Daily Independent. Mobile phones now going out of reach of Nigerians. Finally, PDP NEC returns Anyanwu as national scribe. Fixing NEC meeting for July 23rd. Police stop BOT from holding meeting. Reps query 24 billion naira CCTV allocation for Rivers Government House. 85 senators back creation of Anyoma State. Tinubu malls visa waivers for Eastern Caribbean citizens. Trip exposes how Nigerians shaped St. Lucia. Dalori charges APC members to eschew conflict, division, assumes duty as AG, national chairman. Party to hold NEC meeting July 24th. 2027, I am not part of joint TK talks with Atiku, says Obi. Says he will contest poll and ready for one term only. NCAA grounds Rano aircraft over engine failure on board smoke. Moving over to Daily Times. 2027, I will be on the ballot, not discussing joint ticket with Atiku, says Obi. NBRDADG raises alarm over impending famine. Drought threats in Nigeria. Nigeria ready to export democracy technical support to Malawi, says Bianca Ojukwu. Wike recovers 7,000 hectares from Union Abuja, slams illegal land grabbing. Court grants Natasha Akpotie bail on self-recognition as FG arraigns her. FG delegation visit Dandata family in Medina ahead of burial. Dalori takes over as AG. APC national chairman presides over NWC meeting. And lastly, right here on the Daily Times, China World Bank emerge top creditors as Nigeria's debt hits 149 trillion naira. Moving over to these days, last one right here. PDP's 100th NEC meeting. PDP reaffirms Anyanwu as national secretary. Peter Obi hints at possible run in 2027 presidential election, says he's willing to do one term in office, denies any joint ticket with Atiku, pledges to stabilize country, highlights agenda for national rebirth. That's the last one right there.
All right. Thank you so much, Oji, for those headlines. I think we would start directly from where we actually left off yesterday. Nigerian News Direct 100th NEC meeting. PDP resolves leadership rift, reinstates Anyanwu as national secretary. And you would recall that the Southeast Caucus of the PDP, as well as the Enugu State Governor, who is among, said that they were staying true to their earlier ultimatum. Reinstate Sunday Okoye as the party's secretary, national secretary, or they would have to consider other, options in terms of party alignment. But now we're seeing that following the NEC meeting in Abuja held yesterday, they have resolved to reinstate Samuel Anyanwu, who some people are alleged is part of the FCT ministers, shall we say, camp. On the other side, they have said that they're going to accept him on the condition that he desists from harassing any party members or, making legal cases against them and all of those things that they were probably concerned about. What do you make of this seeming resolution of the internal crisis rocking the PDP as they look forward to their next meeting come next month?
Well, my take is that this case got to the Supreme Court, and we find that the type of judgments we've been getting from Supreme Court for a long time now doesn't settle issues. Often, issues that go to the Supreme Court get more complicated because the Supreme Court doesn't take decisions that are straight, decisions that are settled. They always take decisions in such a way that the parties continue doing whatever they were doing. And that is why there is a school of thought that is of the view that too many cases should no longer be going to the Supreme Court. Many cases should be settled at the Court of Appeal level, not Supreme Court. Because it appears to me that the Supreme Court is overburdened. Then on the issue of the two secretaries, as far as I'm concerned, whatever is happening to PDP today was caused by Atiku Abubakar. In the civilized world, we now have two legal systems, conventional laws. I mean conventions and laws. For instance, in UK, you don't have a constitution as we have in US or Nigeria. No, but through conventions, UK has been going on with political and other issues. Conventions. The convention that has been settled in Nigeria is that after the North has gone for 8 years, the South will go for 8 years. It's settled. Whether it is PDP or APC. APC stood by that convention, but PDP refused to stand by that convention. So, as far as I'm concerned, I may be wrong, but what is happening is that I accept the position of Wike in the sense that Wike's position now, and has been his position, has been that this time that it is 8 years for the South, let other people, including Atiku and El-Rufai, look for Southern candidates for the presidency.
Now, speaking about the presidency, let's go straight to Daily Global. Bolded headline here: Peter Obi declares 2027 presidential ambition to serve only one term. He has also listed out, during an X space, he listed out his key priorities of his first 2 years in office to include security, poverty reduction, and as well as education. Those are the 3 key priorities. So he's saying he would only do one term, and he would do so much in just the first 2 years. He also said that if he is in fact the president, there will be no such thing as defection from one party to another party. He would not promote a one-party state, so to speak. That's what he's speaking to. He's also still criticizing our leaders for going ahead to cut ribbons and holiday during this horrible time in the country where we're seeing killings in Benue and other parts of Nigeria. What do you make of this headline, his plan to do one term come 2027, and his priorities, criticisms as well?
99% of we the obedience. That is our position. In fact, if you're going through Facebook and YouTube, you will see where I have been calling Peter Obi the Nelson Mandela of Nigeria. Nelson Mandela did it for only one term, and it was wonderful. It must not be 2 terms. To the best of my knowledge, with only 4 years, Peter Obi will do 10 times what Buhari did. In fact, to mention Buhari self is very annoying. So, as far as I'm concerned, we obedience, our position is Peter Obi, one term is okay for us.
Why is mentioning Buhari annoying to you?
You know, like I said before, perhaps because my name is Ezeaputa, that the king has arrived. I've been studying the biography of kings and presidents since childhood. And I have never seen, I don't know. I have never seen any leader in this world as bad as Buhari. I may be wrong. You see, first of all,
you mean Tinubu, President Tinubu, in your view, is performing better than Buhari?
Well, first of all, Tinubu is just there for 2 years. But for the much he has done, it's better than Buhari. It's better than Buhari. Buhari did a lot of things. Oh. The only thing I liked about Buhari is that at least the vice president was a Christian. The terrible thing about this one is, like I said before, when I was in the United States, Obasanjo came there and told us that Fulanization and Islamization is going on in Nigeria. A station where we have president, Muslim, vice president, Muslim, Supreme Court Chief Justice, Muslim, foreign minister, Muslim, Jambu chairman, education. It confirms what Obasanjo told us when I was in US. But in the case of Buhari, he brought out a document in which he said that nomadism in the 21st century should continue. He said that the trace which cows used to pass in the 18th century is what we should be doing in the 21st century. Make no mistakes about it. You go to any supermarket in US, you see cow meat in every supermarket. But when you leave, you do not see any cow on the street. And what has happened in Benue is a continuation of what Buhari did. And I thank God for what the Tortiv said. Tortiv said, this is land grabbing, this is genocide. However, I want to remind the Benue people what they did in 1966. The Igbos were escaping from genocide from far away, Sokoto, Meduguri, Kano, Kaduna. And when we came to Makurdi, railway, oh, my father was a victim. What they did to Igbos in Makurdi railway station. And even Oturbo here. Oh.
I mean, you paint a vivid picture, Barrister Ezeaputa. I can't imagine seeing cows roaming the streets, crisscrossing the streets.
21st century.
Oji, please go ahead.
Well, I would have loved to drive through what happened and all that, but let's not, wake all that.
Sorry?
Right now. Let's just, I could have loved to hear, what happened and tell us the story, but let's just leave it.
No. My mother, a woman, after a woman was raped, it was my mother that got, my father that got, what do you call it, to cover her.
That's
towel. My father had got towel to cover an Igbo woman raped at Market. But I was told that this man has pleaded, the former governor of Benue State has asked for forgiveness about what TV and Benue people did to the Igbos in 1966.
Yes.
I was a victim.
Okay.
My father was a victim.
Let's get to platform times. PDP, let's just drive straight to APC because they are having their own fair share of the turbulence, by the way. So APC, 2027 APC members who Kwankwaso as Tinubu's running mates and MPP spokesperson confirms. We saw Ganduje, step down as the APC chair, and also there have been rumors going back and forth as alleged that maybe there is somebody that could be the next VP to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, not Shetima. You saw what happened when they went for a meeting or conference, by the way, when they were stating that no Shetima, no 2027, right? So now, and you know that Kwankwaso can't actually come to APC because his sworn enemy is the chair in the name of Ganduje, which he now has stepped aside right now. So do you think, from your calculation, your political calculation, that it is Kwankwaso that somewhat APC is eyeing to deputize our president come 2027 election, right? Do you see that as a permutation that people are correct that this might be the reason why Ganduje is stepping aside so they can have a big room to welcome Kwankwaso, which we know that no matter what, as they stated, vote all you can in the southeast and all that, just a vote from Kano State will douse those numbers. What's your take?
Yes. Tinubu is a strategist. And when he was governor in Lagos, I was there. He changed his deputy 3 times. So I'll not be surprised if he is changing his deputy. And constitutionally, he has a right so to do. On the issue of Ganduje, when I remember the background of that Ganduje, the dollar video show, the type of leaders we have, I didn't think that he's even, if he resigned, because there are 2 schools of thought.
Yeah.
If it is true that he resigned because of health challenges, that is wonderful in Nigeria.
That's a hard thing to see now. Even when these politicians occupy these offices are sick, they still remain there. You know, anything resignation is out of
that's why I'm very happy to hear. I thought that we have moved to Europe or USA where leaders resign. I was wondering whether this is still Nigeria. So that is a very positive aspect of it. He has been in public service for over 40 years. Deputy governor, secretary governor, this. He should be in a position to go. And that's why I keep on feeling, the example of Kweme, Umezoke, and myself. This politics, we should not be this transactional. What I'm saying is that we shouldn't have people we call professional politicians. Career politicians. Why should you there? Immediately, they made it difficult, Buhari made it difficult for him to become president. Obasanjo just said, okay, you come, I'm going to make you Senate president. He said, how can I, after being number 2, go and be number 3? He went back to his business. So what I am suggesting to all Nigerian politicians, have businesses before, don't go and rely on politics alone. So that anytime you find politics dicey as it is now, Kweme went back to he's an architect, he's a lawyer, he's an entrepreneur, 5-star hotels. He went back to it. Umezoke did the same thing. Immediately, it was no longer going straight in politics. I know he came back to his law office in Mpo, in Anambra State, a 3-storied building. He continued. Another speaker did it too. I did it. Immediately I was told, I campaigned for Ojukwu. I was the person that brought, what do you call these things they bring for politicians? I was the person that brought his own to Lagos. I campaigned with him, for him, with my, what do you call it? I went around the campaign for him, the same thing I did for Jonathan. But immediately I was told that, Ezeaputa, the problem we have with you is that you think that politics is like mathematics, where 2 + 2 is always 4. That in politics, 2 + 2 can give you 7.
Okay.
I dusted my wig and gown. I went back to my law office.
Wait.
So why is it that? So I let him go. Yeah. As having been in public service for 40 years, for more than 40 years, he should have businesses. Is it not Dan Tata that just died? We need some Dan Tatas to enter politics so that any day politics is no longer. You go back to your business.
Okay, from your political calculation, come 2027 election, right? And also everything is going on at this point in time. And would you say that this is going to be the crack, that dent everybody's been waiting for in the APC to, start having their own issues? Because apparently not flagging off Shetima is going to be a problem in 2027. And also the Kwankwasia, Kwankwaso, he got this cult followership. He has grassroots, he's grounded well when it comes to grassroots politics. Would you say that also that's part of the reason why the rumors, or as I said, NNPP spokesperson confirmed that Kwankwaso might be the next VP,
right?
leading to 2027 elections for APC. You think this could actually be where the president is swinging to regarding to what Kwankwaso can actually garner for him, and Shetima did do enough?
You know, we lawyers, we are not trained to be speculative. Or my take is that whatever Tinubu is trying to do, let him remember, or let us assure us of inclusion. It is time for us to have a vice president that is a Christian from the north. That's number one. Number two, about chairmanship. There's a school of thought saying that Ganduje is not supposed to be there, that this thing should be in the middle belt.
Yeah,
the chairmanship, not central. That is where it should be. If it is true that Northwest has speaker, Northwest has deputy senate president, why should Northwest also have the chairman of the party? Meanwhile, the middle belt has secretary to the government, Akume, isn't it? So maybe they need one more position, the chairmanship. Because, but my question is, what are we getting? If you name all the oil producing states, apart from perhaps Enugu and Ebonyi, all the Igbo areas in Nigeria are getting oil. Delta Igbo, Anambra, Enugu, Imo, what do you call Afia? Then Delta Igbo, Delta Rivers, oil. What are Igbos getting in this? I don't understand. Why is it that they were talking about refinery? Where is it that there's no refinery in Igbo land?
Okay, let's look at this other headline, speaking about what people are benefiting from. Science Times, last one here. Nigeria open to visa waiver for diplomats, government officials from Eastern Caribbean states. This is according to President Tinubu. So I have two questions. First, your reaction to President Tinubu's state visit to St. Lucia, and also your reaction to this reciprocal arrangements being put in place by the president, telling them to consider visa waivers for Nigerians as well. As Nigeria is also open to visa waivers, not for everybody, but for diplomats, government officials from this Eastern Caribbean state. So the president is basically saying, we are open to giving visa waivers for diplomats and officials from your state. We also do ask you to consider a reciprocal arrangement where diplomats and government officials from Nigeria can also have visa waivers to the Eastern Caribbean states, people that have official passports. Your reaction to these two questions?
Yeah, when we quarreled with too much travel, when we have a lot of problems here in Nigeria, it appears to me, and I may be wrong, that because of what happened to Aguiyi and some other leaders that were assassinated in Nigeria, it appears to me that Mr. President is strategically avoiding assassination.
Is that what you think? That's a huge speculation. Lawyers are not known for speculation.
Yeah, but politically speaking, when you see how Erosi was assassinated with a governor of Western Nigeria in his own country, maybe our president, in order to reduce assassinations, give one reason or the other, you go and stay outside for some time, at least to be sure that within 2 weeks, no assassination will succeed. And by the time he will come back, he will make sure that one issue in Nigeria has been solved from abroad. By the time you come back, you see, there's a global village now, you can do a lot of things from. So then, for the small island, geography is one of the courses I did in the university, and I've traveled a lot. This is the first time I'm hearing of that country. I'm not aware, I don't know how relevant, but he mentioned that one of our chief justices came from that land. And I don't know, to me, all these things, I don't know, he's escaping assassination. Maybe.
That's a strong allegation, but you know, this channel does not in any way support violence. If an assassin wants to get you, I assure you, Barrister Ezeaputa,
they'll follow you.
St. Lucia will not save you. So I don't think that's the right. I don't think that's the right allusion.
Because wait a minute, because he's traveling, it's too much. What else is he traveling? If you travel, okay, and it is time for Nigeria to stop Father Christmas business. That is one thing Trump that is doing that perhaps is correct. It is not, there is time for everything. There is time you will stop doing Father Christmas. You think about your home first. Let's think, this is the time to think, Nigeria first, Nigeria first.
All right. I think we'll end on that note of hashtag Nigeria first. Thank you, Barrister Ezeaputa, for joining today. But do remain seated. Thank you once again, Barrister Ezeaputa. I mean, speaking about Father Christmas, you also realize we're going to be having an interview much later with Becky, speaking about this Ashakin saga. He is also known as Street Santa in many parts of Nigeria. Among his followers, loyal followers, so to speak, active followers, they call him the Street Santa. So we'll find out what Becky is really saying following the controversy that ensued after her day out with the, should we say, philanthropist, major philanthropist here in Nigeria, Asha Kine. We'll get to that in just moments, right after we go around the region and talk about why Afia TV is currently not visible on YouTube, why our official channel is not visible. So many questions have been asked. Afia TV's digital manager will be joining us to tell us why and what exactly is being done about it. The Monitor returns to regional stories in just seconds. Stay tuned.